Hi, friends. I'm Scott Giles, and welcome to Power Talk, my podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I cover topics related to hypnocoaching, spirituality, and the hypnotic arts and sciences generally. If you'd like to know more about my professional work, I'll tag my website at the end of this video. Please feel free to check it out. Today I want to start with a story told by Ryan Holiday, a writer specializing in the Stoic philosophy, a philosophy I personally do subscribe to. He tells a story about the ancient philosopher Seneca. Seneca was a merchant as well as a philosopher, and on a voyage between Phoenicia and Piraeus, his ship sank and he lost all of his cargo that he had paid for. He ended up washed ashore in Athens and didn't have any money with him, and he had lost his investment in the cargo. As he was just trying to get around in Athens and prepare to return home, he learned about the philosophy of a man named Socrates. And he was so inspired by that philosophy that it changed his life. He would actually later write, "Now that I've suffered a shipwreck, I'm on a good journey." The point of this story is that bad stuff happens to us all. However, and this is something to get, the ability to find the advantage in a bad situation is what differentiates winners from losers. I'll say that again. The ability to find the advantage in a bad situation is what differentiates winners from losers. Seneca had a bad situation, but the loss of his possessions also freed him up from responsibilities and burdens, and that gave him time to reposition his life so that he ended up happier. We're seeing something similar right now in our culture today in 2021 with what's come to be called the Great Resignation. After the global pandemic has lightened its effect and companies and businesses are hiring again, what they're discovering is people sometimes don't want to go back to those jobs where they weren't paid well or treated well. They've had a chance to reflect. And through that loss of the regular paycheck that they had during the layoff that they experienced, they found the advantage, which is I want something else for my life now. They had a chance to rethink their lives and to decide anew about what was really important to them. Do they really want a job that they had kind of fallen into, but which wasn't a good fit, or where the working conditions weren't good? Another example, you break up with a romantic partner, and that hurts. But then you take a deep breath and realize that maybe you've been looking for the wrong sort of person all along. You find the advantage in a bad situation. I've been married twice. Lindsay and I are approaching our fourth decade of marriage together. But after my first marriage ended, when I had my divorce, I realized that the values in that relationship, my first wife liked to acquire possessions, possessions that required a lot of upkeep, like silver and stuff. And I realized, because she left all of that, was that I was really in captivity to that stuff. And I needed to simplify my lifestyle. So, although the divorce was a bad situation. Any divorce, even if you later become very happy, still a divorce is a bad situation to go through. But I found the advantage in it, which it made me realize that I was in captivity to my stuff. And I threw away an enormous amount of stuff and rethought how I wanted to be in the world. I would subsequently get married to a great woman who's very much the love of my life. I chose a simpler lifestyle for myself, a simpler theology, a simpler cooking style. And I've been very happy. I found the advantage in a bad situation. And that's the key thing about focusing on life's essentials. A bad situation can free you by helping you look anew at what you're dealing with and decide what's really important. The writer Henry David Thoreau, a transcendentalist, in his book Walden, wrote these words: "I went to the woods because I wish to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and to see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not when it came to die, and not when I came to die, to discover that I had not lived." Sometimes a bad thing can turn out to be the best thing that ever happened to you if it helps you see what's really important and distinguish that from what isn't. There is a school of philosophical thought called traditionalism. It's a bad name because it doesn't mean about being traditional. But in that philosophical school, there's something they call the triumph of quantity, which characterizes the modern world, opposed to the triumph of quality. A lot of things in society appear to be progress according to traditionalism when they're actually signs of decline. Trying to just have lots of stuff, the triumph of quantity, is a sign of decline. Trying to live a life to acquire things is not a good way to live. There's an old bumper sticker back from the 80s. "He who dies with the most toys wins." That is a false proposition. Instead of quantity, I love quality. I don't have a lot of things, but what I do have is the best. This was the realization of how I wanted to be in the world after my first marriage fell apart. It helped me find what was essential. Hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject, and I invite you to join me. It does help me if you let others know about my videos, so please like, share, and subscribe. If I can be of help to you, don't hesitate to reach out through email, my website, or my Patreon channel. Stay well and stay safe.